Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Life Issue. My name is Blessing. Today's live show, we're going to be talking about an area that I'm an expert in, and I want you to just grab your wine or any bottle that you can and stay with me as we talk about teaching opportunity in the UK. Now, if you're in any of this country, Ghana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Nigeria, India, Singapore, you have an opportunity to come to the UK using an immigration route that was just opened on the 1st of February by the UK government. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the major things that are on that particular policy so that you understand how to get on it. And then over the next few weeks, I'm going to be coming online every Sunday to talk about an aspect of teaching that you should know before you leave your country. So I want you to sit down, relax, grab your water or your cup of tea or your bottle of wine as I go through this new policy by the Home Office. All right, you stay with me. Okay, guys, so earlier, towards the end of last year, the Home Office actually introduced a new route to qualified teaching statute in the UK. And I'll explain what all this is all about. Now, if you know any teacher or your friend to any teacher, please, please, please share this link with them. Do not hold this information. We know that there was once last year, I think for the past 1 year, we had a carer rule that was opened by the UK government, and a lot of Africans got into it, and they're already now in the UK. There are doctor routes coming out, and there's so many ways they call it high skilled immigrant visa that the UK government feels that what this particular area of the economy needs more people. And so what they do is they open up that sector and they actually bring in people from some countries to come and fill it. So as you guys know, I'm a class teacher. I've worked in education for the past 13 years now in the UK. So when I have this particular information, I said I'm going to be sharing everything I know about teaching in the UK to help us, to help people in Africa, around the world who wants to get in and for them to get in fast. This just opened, I think on Wednesday, that was the 1st of February. All right, so let's look at the overall. What is this? What is it all about? So what they're saying is there are different ways to get into teaching in the UK. Now, you can have an OTC, which is a qualified teaching status. That's one. You can actually come into the UK without OTC and you will work for 4 years. But for you to stay longer in the UK, you must get your OTC. So, I mean, let me explain this what this means. So, like when you have your teachers training education in Nigeria, and you just graduated in the UK, you can work, but you have 4 years to get what they call the OTC, which is the qualified teacher status. You must get it for you to continue. So when I did my PGCE, I have to go through an NQT, which is like a two. Now I think it's a 2 years probation period for me to get my NQT, and it's very every QTS. Sorry, I had to get my NQT, but you're gonna get NQTS. Now, it's very important that you know that for you to stay longer after the 4 years, you must get QTS. You have to get it. So there are two ways. Like I said, you can come into the UK without a QTS, or you can come in through the assessed base, which is a QTS base. And I will try to explain all this as much as I can. So just listen. All right, let's look at the countries that they have opened the door for. So you have Australia, Canada. These countries have always been there. They can always come in anytime to teach in the UK. You have Gibraltar, Hong Kong, New Zealand, Netherlands, Scotland, Switzerland, Ukraine, and the US. Now, these people have always been able to come in, just go to some of the websites, international website, and come to the UK and teach. But they can only teach for 4 years before they go back. Otherwise, they have to get the QTS status because their educational qualification is recognized to be at par with the UK. So theirs is totally different from ours. Now, the other new people or other new country that was added recently is countries like Ghana, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore, South Africa, Zimbabwe. Now, the difference between these two is people from this country can come in and teach even though they are not teaching a specialist subject. Now, if you are from Ghana, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore, South Africa, Zimbabwe, you have to be coming in to teach a specialist subject. So when I mean a specialist subject, I'll explain. So it has to be maths, science, physics, those things that are specialists, okay? And it has to be, you must be people who can teach from 11 to 16 years old. Listen, so the difference again is people from this country can teach any year. They can teach primary, they can teach secondary, they can teach, university. But for these countries, if you do not have a QTS and you just want to come in, you can teach specialist subjects, math, science, and qualification to match 11 to 16 years old. So we're looking at secondary school, not primary school. So that's the difference between the two categories of countries. Now let's look at what is QTS. But somebody asks, okay, so from what you can see, for you to just apply, if you apply, you must make sure that you're applying to a secondary school if you are from the second category of countries, and you must tell on your CV that you have the knowledge of a specialist subject, maths, any science subject like biology, physics, chemistry, and computer. That is what they call specialist subjects in this part of the world. Now, if you are teaching in primary school, I'm so sorry, you must get your QTS for you to come in. So, I'm going to continue. There's so many information in this video. All right, so there are 4 different ways that I've just explained. There are 4 different routes to qualify teachers for in the UK. So you have to apply for the QTS using online service application. Now, what happened? I'm going to show you guys I'm going to put the links after this video and on where to apply for the QTS if you are coming in and you just want to teach every year group, or if you are applying and you cannot get some schools to give you employment. Like, let me explain how this works. There are schools that they don't mind if whether you have a QTS or not, and these schools are called academy or independent school. So those academy and independent school, the government does not mind them. You can actually work for that particular school for 20 years, 30 years without having a QTS. But for you to work in the mainstream, the government-owned school, after 4 years, you must have a QTS. So you can decide to only apply to, academies. And when you come in, you only be applying to academies. Just the academies are very, very, how do I say it now, tedious. And to work for them, you must be someone who can withstand pressure. So, but if you don't have a QTS and you want to come, when you're applying, strictly apply to academics and independent school. Leave government school for now. But even if you apply to government schools, know that if they give you that job, which some of them might not, you must get a QTS within 4 years. So this is why this particular information is very important. If you want to get your QTS before you're coming, so you need to apply for QTS, and then you need to be qualified. You need to have a specialist subject that you are teaching. You need to have a teaching experience already. Now, when I say teaching experience already, now the Home Office, they are very, very specific about the kind of teaching experience that they want from the people before they even apply. So let's look at it, okay? So if you qualify to come for a non-UK institution, your assessment only teaching training provider might want to see a statement of comparability showing how they compare to UK qualification. So for you to even be considered, you must have a qualification, a university, or I'm going to show the different qualification that they've listed there. Let me just bring out the qualification that they've listed there. So you must have a post-certificate of education international. You must have a postgraduate certificate in education. So an education and certificate. You must have or a post-diploma in education. These are the training course that do not include OTS. You don't need to have an OTS. You can come and teach here if you have any of these, like any edu, even if in HND or OND or university, as long as you have an edu qualification, of course, you can come and teach without a QTS. Now, let's go back. So basically, if you want to compare, because before they even answer you, you have to compare your educational status to what they want. So that's the number for you to call 0800395500, and they will actually be the one to compare your educational qualification to what they actually require. And you must have also I think we used to use, we call it NURIC. I think they've changed to ENIC. I don't know why they call it, but we used to call it NURIC. And where they kind of like send the letter to your school, try to compare before they now actually even start answering you. And also you must have spent a consistent time spent teaching. So you cannot just have left school and you want to come. You're not going to qualify. Another thing they said is that you must have taught in 2 separate schools. So if you have only taught in one particular school, you will not qualify for this visa unless you have taught with 2, or you are able to get 2 head teachers from 2 different schools to testify that you have worked for them. I know in Africa is not a big deal. You can get that because we always move. And also you must demonstrate you have taught young people from a range of different backgrounds. So you cannot just be teaching only rich people. You have to be teaching different, you must have taught different mix and different, children for you to qualify. No, these things are very important. You must be able to have these things before you even start, start even applying. So read this particular part of the information when I send you the link for you to actually look at it. Now, another thing is, if you have taught in any school like international school, we have the British International School, those experience actually work for you. Now, if you have had any English curriculum taught, is actually a good thing for you. But remember, you must have at least 2 years teaching experience in total. 2 years teaching experience. So basically, these are all the organizations that you might have worked with. Association of British School Overseas, Council of. It's not like you must have, but at least this will help. It can be in any of this, and most times they will consider this because these particular organizations actually use the British curriculum when they are teaching. So it's easier for them to give you the visa if you've taught in any of these schools. All right, so qualified teacher status. Now I'm going to send the link there because there are so many ways to get this qualification. What happens is that you must actually apply for it if you want to first of all get your QTS before you start coming. You have to apply for it. Let's say you don't have all this experience, you cannot, you just want to get your QTS so that when you come in, you are set and you can work for any organization. So that means you have to apply for your QTS before you start coming. I don't advise people to apply for it first. If you know you have taught and you know how to teach, please, please, please start applying to academy and independent school. And from there, you can now, when you come in, get your QTS. Now, it's QTS is actually, there's also IQTS, international QTS. So if you're an international person, Google international qualified teacher status. Most of you might have gotten it already because I know some of my friends I've spoken to, they have already gotten their IQTS. So if you have your IQTS already, then you are good to go. Okay. So and also think about if you have anything to back up your knowledge of English. Now, for most schools that are in Nigeria, my country, our qualification, if you are an university holder, will be okay for you. But if you do not have maybe OND holder, please go and take your TOEFL or your ETL. Just take it, okay? Now, for you to get QTS, you must apply and you have to pay a fee to the training provider. QTS is not free. One thing about these processes, there are two ways: QTS or non-QTS. QTS gives you much more opportunity to come in if you apply through QTS. But if you don't have your QTS and you want to come in, you just have to keep applying until a provider answer you. And I'll give you guys the link. Now, most of them are looking for teachers. Try to apply outside London. Okay, try to apply other location that is not London, and hopefully you will get it. Now, for you to be eligible for an assessment only QTS. Now, if you want to say, okay, you know what, I don't want to stress myself. I know I have more opportunity if I get my QTS. This is the requirement. To apply for QTS only, you need to have a minimum of 2 years teaching experience. You must have a first bachelor degree in UK or non-UK university. Now, remember, the one without QTS, you do not have to have a bachelor degree. You can have your OND, you can have your HND. Or what it means is that as you come in, when the independent school takes you, then you have to now apply to get your QTS. But for you to apply based on QTS, these are the requirements. Now, an English qualification, which is the same standard as grade 4G, most Nigerian schools, we meet this criteria, so that's fine. Now, you must have a mass qualification. That means your GCSE or your WAEC, you must have passed your mass. Now, if you did not pass your mass, please don't bother. They won't take you. You must have passed your mass. They're very strict about this. And if you have QTS, this is where, of course, you can teach any year group. And this is the difference between if you have a QTS, if you don't have a QTS. If you have a QTS, you can teach any year group. So if you have a QTS, you can teach primary school, secondary school. If you do not have a QTS, you must be a specialized teacher, maths, science, and IT. So that's why if you can, apply through the QTS route. Now, what the QTS route means is that the school will employ you and you are coming over as their QTS trainee. So you are still going to be coming into the UK, but you are coming in as a QTS. I don't want to explain what QTS is. I want to do another video to explain what QTS is. But QTS is just that you are teaching and they're assessing you. If you have been a teacher all this while, QTS is not a problem. It's just that you know how they do invigilation in Nigeria. You have people coming to see you once in every term, and we have 6 terms. So they're going to just come and see you, see how you are teaching, ask you questions. That is it. So, but you're going to still be coming to the UK. You don't need to have a job offer. Just apply to the QTS. A school will take you and they will bring you over, and you automatically be working for them, and they will be paying you while you are trying to get your QTS. So both ways are okay. So if I'm you, be applying through QTS if you have the money. Also be applying through non-QTS if you're a secondary school teacher. And anyone that works out for you, please grab it and come. All right, so let's talk about the fees. When you apply for QTS, you do not need to pay a fee to a trainee provider. You do not pay if you are in England. So if you come in and you come in without QTS and you start working for an academy or an independent provider, you do not need to pay when you apply for QTS in England. You do not need to go to school again. You do not need to, go back. All you need to do is before the 4 years, the school where you are will start processing your QTS, and they start assessing you for your QTS, which automatically qualifies you to stay back because you can get more other jobs. And then within 5 years, you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain. So it's a very good opportunity. Without QTS is okay. With QTS is okay. Now, I think I've spoken about this. If you have a PGC education, if you have HND, if you have a diploma, please apply without a QTS, which means that you apply to independent school and academy. All right, let's move on. I think I've spoken about this. So what is QTS? It's just, I've said it before, it's just people coming around to carry out assessment of your teaching, ask you, evidence your for qualification. It's just a way of assessing you. Do you understand? And these are what when you apply through QTS route, these are what the people are going to ask you. They will ask for your certificate. They will ask you to sit a test to demonstrate your understanding of mass knowledge. Now, please reach out to me and I will help give you a website that you use to practice this, because I have gone through this. I've gone through this mass knowledge test and I know what they want. So if you want me to do another video on that, I will do that. Now, you also, if you're going to go through the QTS, you need to have your health and physical capacity evaluated. You need to go under safeguarding. Okay, safeguarding is very important. Like, see, in the UK, safeguarding is the main thing. They will go through police check. They'll check if you are mentally okay. They'll check if you have any history of domestic violence. If you have, everything will be checked. So, and then you can apply. So as you can see, I'm going to show you guys the website to apply. I'm here to show you everything, okay? Now, so I've told you 2 ways to apply. Just apply if you have OND, HND, and you have taught for 2 years in your country, and you have taught people who have 11 to 16 years of age, and it has to be specialist area, maths, science, and IT. These are the people without QTS. I'm repeating it again. Now, if you want to go through the QTS, you have to go through the link I'm going to post after this video, and it's called Assessment for QTS. You have to now go through the schools that are offering QTS in a route for you to go through. The school will now ask you for things, and the school will employ you Now, for that particular, if you want to follow that particular route, that means that if you're not in the UK, you're going to pay to come in. But if you're in the UK already through the other means, you don't have to pay for it, because that means that you're already here, you're already working for an academy or independent school, but you still need to get your QTS after 4 years. It's a bit, I don't know how to put it. QTS is very important in this country because it's about the teaching standard. And I'm going to do another video. There's so many videos I need to do to explain to you what is the teaching standard. Now, teaching standard in this country is like, wow, you must meet it. And you have to meet everything. But I'll show you guys and I'll explain to you how to meet it, okay? Because if you love teaching, if it's what you want to do, of course, you must be a good teacher. You must want the children to do well. You must think about the children's well-being. And these are what teaching standards are all about. All right, so what else haven't I said? I think there's so much I need to say in this one video. Now, so another way to come into the UK, and of course I had to talk about this way, is if you want to apply from Nigeria and you don't want to come and start teaching, you just want to come and school and learn all about it, and just come and learn and go to school and become a teacher through school. So now the government have opened. This was not there before. This was not there before. Before, for you to train, most times you must be a UK citizen or it will cost you your arm and your leg. But now they're saying all non-UK citizens can apply to train to teach in the UK. So the link is there. Please click on it. Look for a school. Please, if you have the money, and you don't want to think about the QTS or no QTS or trying to apply for job, please click on this. I'm going to put the link there for you, and you can pay to train as a teacher, and automatically it leads for you to get a QTS. The fee starts from £12,000. Well, that's like a master, because a master degree anyway. So, but automatically, most schools, before you are finishing, you are getting a job. So it guarantees you to be in the UK, you get your QTS, and you're going to get a job. And of course, you are now in the system. That's another way to go about doing it. It all depends on what you want to do. Now, to apply for the QTS, if you want to do the QTS route, you can use the service. I think I have the service here. The link is, I'm going to put the links there. If you're an early carer teacher now, this does not apply to, if you're a SEND teacher, please do not bother applying. SEND is very, very, safeguarding issue here. You can't teach in the UK schools for now if you are qualified as a SEND. It's not opened yet for these countries. So because SEND is very dicey. These are people who are vulnerable. It needs people that are trained in the UK to be the ones to be teaching their SEND. Okay, so let's get into the website. Okay, so for you to so let's assume that after I've given you all this information, you're asking yourself a question: how do I find a teaching job in the UK? How do I find a teaching job? All right, so I'm going to put the link. If you have any question, please be asking me before we go. This is a link to find a teaching job in the UK. Just Google it. I'm going to advise you, leave London alone. Just Google it. If you have all the qualification, the first thing to do is to start applying and look for a teaching job. So let me open one of them so you can see how it works and what you need to do. So find a teaching job. All right, this is one. So basically, you're keeping your what you want, maths teacher, and you kind of like put in, if you want to go, if it's London, you put London, and you just do search. So London, they'll ask you which area in London is you want it to be. If you have a particular area in mind, or you want to do the whole London, well, you don't want to be a head teacher, no. you just want to be a teacher, so filter it. And then these are all the mass teaching job that is there. All you need to do is to apply. Now, can you see what they say? Academy. That is the ones that you need to be applying to if you are not coming through the assessment QTS qualification and routes. Okay, so all this, keep applying, do not give up. One of them will call you. I'm telling you, one of them will call you. You can see as there's so many teachers job, so many. And if you don't want to be in London, you can change it and say Manchester, and you search. As you can see, there's so many Manchester job. I'm going to say, if it's not academy, if it's not independent school, please ignore it if you're not coming in as a QTS. So ignore all that. Just apply for the ones that say academy. Keep applying. One thing about the UK is they will definitely call you. Now, another site, I'm going to put the link for all this. Another site that you can go to is this one. Is a government gov.uk one. You just search for the particular location that you want. The same thing here, put in the location and you can search. All right, there's last website I want to show you guys before I go. I think I don't want to stay more than 40 minutes. Now, if you want to go through the QTS route, what you need to do is, this is the website, and just please make sure that this is the UK gov. I'm going to put this up there. Read this. Everything I've shown you guys is here, and then you have to apply. This is here. Apply for QTS in England. Now this is for those. This is the one for those who are in countries like Ghana, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore. When you click this, you now have to check. Please, if you want to come using QTS, please do it tonight. Many people have already started applying. Stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating. Do it ASAP. Now, so when you click on this, you now put in you now click on start, and you put all your information, and then it will tell you if you qualify to apply for QTS. Now, jobs where they have QTS ready job will come up, and you can apply to a particular school. Apparently, there are 7 or 8 schools that are currently offering QTS sponsorship. If you do not apply on time, some of them might close. So please, please, please apply as fast as you can before they close. Remember, you have people from Ghana, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore, South Africa, Zimbabwe. They are the ones applying. So please apply. And I don't think the money, because if you're applying for this, you don't have to pay the money, all of them at once. You can spread the money as you work. So apply for this one. But if you do not want to apply for the QTS, use the ordinary application and start applying. All right, last thing I want to show you guys. I don't know if anybody if you have any question. If you don't have any question, if you have a question later, please drop your question and I will answer it later. If you need to talk to me about CV, about anything, send me a DM and I will get back to you. The last thing I want to show you guys is another website that I love. Now, if I'm single, I'll be using that website a lot. If you have a UK QTS status and you have, or maybe you've worked in British international school, there is this website which is called the TS. Now, they are very good at getting international teachers job. So please Google them, look for job through them. look for sponsorship through them, look for international career, look for them. There are a lot of job. It's something I've shown you before. Just try to like filter it and get to the location that you want and apply. They don't just have only the UK one, they have one in Dubai, the rest of the world. They have one. There's so many. In fact, that you can travel to a lot. UK is not the only place that is offering this. They have jobs in America. They have jobs in Canada. So, and they will be the one to help you process your visa. So try using the TS if you want to. Please, if you come into the UK and you feel like, okay, you know what, UK is not working out for me, I want to leave, please use the TS. All right, guys, I think I'm done today trying to explain to you guys about the new route for you to come into the UK as a teacher. I'll try to do another video about, I'm just going to focus on QTS. What is it all about? What is the requirement? What do you need to do? How do you pass? That's what I'm going to focus, because from what we have seen is one of the things that the government wants you to get when you come in. If you don't come in through that, if you don't come in through having it first, what they're saying is, even if you come into the academy or independent school, they will give you 4 years for you to get the QTS. So that QTS is very important. So I'll be doing another video next week trying to explain to you what this QTS is all about, so that you have an understanding. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you have any question, just drop it on my DM. Go to my Twitter page, which is at Dance, and just drop them my DM. Or you can go to my Facebook, which is Life Issues Magazine, and drop your question and I'll try to answer. And also, if you want me to any help with your CV, if you want me to look at your CV, please send it across and I'll have a look. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.